Hello, everybody. It's been a while since we've sat on the set here and recorded a video, but it's E3 week, Shane.
Yep.
We're recording a little bit early, but it's E3 week. This is going up right before all of our different coverage is going to be going up, and we thought we wanted to do what everybody else is going to be doing and go over some predictions for what we think's going to be at the show.
Mm-hmm.
We may mention some things that are already confirmed to be at the show, but mainly we wanted to try to stick to things that aren't confirmed that we think we're going to see at the show. So
yeah.
I'll start if you want me to.
Sure.
I'll go ahead and start off.
Go ahead.
Also, just to preface, we're going to be bouncing around a lot. We're not going to structure it based on conference. It's just if we have a game idea, just going to go out and say it. First of all, I think this is something that maybe you mentioned to me a while ago, but I think we had talked before about at the Bethesda press conference, we are going to get the announcement of a Prey 2 from Arcane Studios. Their last title was Dishonored 2, and that was a couple years ago at this point. I think 2017 was when that game came out. And they have, since last year, they released the original Prey's DLC content, but they haven't had anything new that they've talked about or that they've released. So I think it's a pretty safe bet that we're going to see Prey 2. Bethesda doesn't have a whole lot on their lineup right now. They have Doom Eternal, they have the regular stuff like Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76. So one of their new game announcements should likely be from Arcane.
Yeah, one thing I've said before is that Bethesda typically tends to give games second chances, whereas a lot of companies probably wouldn't. So I know The Evil Within 1, for instance, sold pretty well. I think it sold a few million. But there was also a lot of hype behind that game because it was, being directed by Shinji Mikami, and a lot of marketing was supposed to be like, oh, next RE4, whatever. The sequel comes out and it doesn't sell nearly as well, so I don't know if there's going to be a sequel to that. Same with Prey. I think Prey sold like 1 million, which is okay, but not great. But I think it's enough for Bethesda to give it a sequel and give it another chance. I mean, Rage got a sequel and nobody even asked for that.
Yeah.
But I would say if, Prey 2 comes out and it just does okay, I don't know if we'll see a Prey 3. Likewise with The Evil Within, I don't know if we're going to see a third one. Speaking of Tango Gameworks, I think we might see whatever they're working on at this year's Bethesda conference. I think Evil Within 2 released in 2017, so it's probably about time for them to at least show like a teaser trailer for whatever it is they're working on. So I'd be excited to see that. And Prey. I have the first Prey, I got it for Christmas this year, but I haven't gotten around to playing it. But I would definitely welcome a sequel to Prey and Evil Within 3. In terms of Bethesda, like obviously I think they already said they're not going to show like Starfield or Elder Scrolls or anything.
Not going to be there. So.
Yeah, and I guess they'll show Doom, right? Doom Eternal.
There's that one hotel in LA that people always pay to get the 3 billboards for, and they're already painting that with Doom Eternal. So I think they're going to have a pretty sizable blowout for Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I would say Doom is probably going to be their big game there, because it's definitely the most popular out of all their like side IPs, because that's the one that's guaranteed to sell a few million. So they're obviously going to push that one the hardest.
Wolfenstein Youngblood might get another trailer. That game comes out like a month or two after E3.
Yeah, so that'll definitely get a new trailer.
They'll probably get a trailer, and I'm pretty sure that they've said they're going to be detailing new content coming to Fallout 76. Whether or not people will be excited to see that remains to be seen. I'll watch it. I'll hop in for an hour and play it, but it's probably inevitable. We're going to hear about Fallout, so...
Yeah, I think so too. That might end up being a good thing if there's like a really big update. Well, there's already been several big updates to it, but maybe if there's a huge update that fixes a lot of things and adds stuff, I don't know, that might be kind of cool. Yeah, otherwise from Bethesda, I think it's not going to be as big as it was last year where they just announced like everything. But we're going to see some new stuff, which should be pretty cool. And I don't know if we're going to see Todd there this year. Probably.
I don't think so.
Not. I don't think there's anything big enough to warrant that, but...
I think they're only going to bring him out whenever there's a new BGS title that's coming out, so we'll probably see him when Starfield's about ready to come out.
Yeah. I guess you can think of another one.
Alright, here's a big one that everybody has question marks around, Rocksteady. Do you think we're finally going to see Rocksteady?
I feel like, I think they implied recently that they're not going to show it again this year.
Really?
I think someone on Twitter said that, like the main Twitter is like, yeah, we're super excited to show off our new game, but it's not going to be this year.
It is also surprising that, like, I mean, we've had rumors here and there, but they don't seem very concrete, at least from what I've seen. The only real consistency with it is that it is a DC property, but who knows? It really could be anything at this point. They've had a pretty good run of keeping things locked down over there.
I mean, the only thing they've ruled out is a Superman game, which I guess they could be lying, but it probably isn't. 'Cause I think that'd be really hard to pull off and have it be like a good game.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would just, like, they'd focus on the flying, and it's like, okay, this is kind of fun, but then there's not a whole lot else to do. I don't know. Maybe they could pull it off, but I think there's been talk of, like, a Suicide or Justice League game or something like that, so I guess we'll just wait and see. I don't think it's going to be another Batman game, though. I've heard rumors that maybe Warner Brothers Montreal might make another Arkham game or something, which would be kind of cool. I don't know if we really need another Arkham one at this point. I wouldn't say no to it. Those games are a lot of fun, but in any case, I don't think we're going to see Rocksteady's game or a supposed Arkham game or whatever at this E3. I know one game that's been, talked about heavily, and it has in some ways been soft confirmed, has been, the new Fable, supposedly. Fable 4. So Microsoft hasn't actually announced this game, but I think it was either in someone's resume recently or it popped up in a listing or something. And there's been rumors circulating about Fable 4 for a long time now. They've all been really consistent. The fact that Playground Studios is probably going to make it, and for those who don't know, Playground is the company that makes Forza. They are an English-based company, and the reason why that's important to note is because Fable does have a very, very English sense of humor. The only other game that really pops into my mind when I think of, like, English sense of humor in games is Conquer. They're very similar in the fact that, like, they make, like, shit jokes all the time and stuff like that. They're definitely very similar in that respect. So that's good, because I was kind of worried at first. I didn't know if Playground was an American company, and I feel like something would have been lost in translation if they tried to do their own spin on it. But that's good that they're still a UK developer, and I think they're taking the same route that Sony took with Guerrilla Games, where they made, like, shooters for a while, and then they said, hey, make an open world like action RPG and see how that goes, and it went really well for them. So hopefully it goes well for Playground. They're at least a very well respected studio, and they put out good racing games. They're very pretty and everything. So hopefully it's a home run for them.
That didn't even really register for me until you just mentioned it. That, like, I mean, Forza is, like, really high end graphics wise. Like, it'll be interesting to see what they do with, like, a fantasy setting and everything like that. And I mean, Phil Spencer has even been like, it's Fable. Like, he hasn't said it, but even at E3 last year, he said they're working on a fantasy project. It's like, it
just implies that it's Fable, and I think it hopefully will be really interesting, because I think a lot of these game devs are probably sick of making racing games, just kind of like how I'm sure NetherRealm is sick of just making fighting games. They probably want to make a different genre for once. So hopefully that really sparks their creativity and we get a really cool fantasy game. Because I've always really liked the Fable series, even the lesser ones. I'm one of the people that thinks the series got worse as it went on. But I always kind of enjoyed all the games for one reason or another. Even though, Peter did lie, yes, and none of them were, like, super, super revolutionary, but they're fun little fantasy games, and they have a good sense of humor, so hopefully they'll bring that back in full force, and I would definitely love to play another Fable game. So
same here. Recently, I was listening to the Dude Soup podcast, which is the Funhouse podcast, and they were talking about what we might see at E3, and Adam Kovic had a point that really kind of resonated with me, and I completely forgot about this, but he said, what would happen if they announced a new BioShock game? And we know that this hasn't been outright said, but the rumor was that 2K took developers out of the Mafia 3 team, formed a new sub-studio that was supposedly working on a new BioShock game. And we're sort of coming across that time frame where maybe we could see a trailer for a new BioShock game.
Yeah.
What form that would take, I have no idea. If I had to assume, without Ken Levine on board, they might play it a little bit more safe, so maybe we would see it back in Rapture again. Personally, I would like it to be somewhere different. I think a lot of people would like to see a different environment, because the environment is always such a big part of the BioShock series. But I could really see it just being Rapture, but I mean, if it's a next-gen Rapture game, and maybe it's no loading screens between everything. You can just explore Rapture. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
That's all speculation, by the way. I don't have inside knowledge. So.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not going to E3 yet.
No.
That would be cool. Maybe some year. Yeah, a new Bioshock game would be interesting. And I agree with you about the Rapture part, because I was kind of thinking, like, okay, well, I wonder where they could take it. Because they did Rapture, then Rapture again, then the sky, now, like, what, space? But then you're doing System Shock again. So I'd be interested in seeing another Bioshock game, because I liked all of them from what I played. So yeah, that'd be really interesting. I'm a little worried because the Mafia devs are going to make it, so hopefully it's not, like, glitchy and bad. But I haven't played Mafia 3. I've heard some good things about it. I think the story was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Or was Hannah?
It's
I heard
decent.
some good things about
It's
it,
just a lot of... It's good whenever you get the story, but in order to get to the story, you got to go through a repetitive grind. And that's what the biggest, like, negative takeaway is. It's just, it's super repetitive. And you're just doing the same things over and over and over again to get to a good story mission. So
I guess moving on, one game that was rumored recently is a From Software game called, I think, Great Room, something like that. And supposedly it's a collaboration between George R.R. Martin, who is the author of A Song of Ice and Fire, also known as Game of Thrones for the layman. So I don't think... From what we've heard, it's not going to be like a Game of Thrones game. It's it's gonna be like a fantasy world, I guess, created by George R.R. Martin, or at least in collaboration with Miyazaki or whoever is directing it. So that already sounds really cool, because George is obviously a very talented writer. I've never really read the books or seen the TV show, but there must be something behind the hype.
yeah, if there's big buzz about it, I mean, there's something to that.
Yeah. And we don't really know anything about the gameplay. I mean, we know it's going to be fantasy. I think something about co-op. I don't know. Parts of it sounds like another Souls game where it's like, oh, you can help people or you can hurt people, and like in terms of the online aspect. But we don't know much about it. It's just that it might be a thing, and if it is, we'll probably, I guess we'll see it at Microsoft's conference. I mean, it seems a little early for another FromSoft like AAA announcement, but. I mean, you never know.
I mean, they crank out games incredibly fast. I mean, basically, they've had a game from... Not... If you count Sekiro as a Souls game, they've had a game for, like, the last, like, 4 or 5 years come out every single year.
Yeah.
So, it wouldn't really surprise me. The two things that I had heard about it in the rumor mill is that it has a Norse setting, and also that horseback riding might be a key gameplay feature, which would be new for Souls.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention, Miyazaki said in an interview that he would someday like to create a game like Red Dead, where it's like super story-based with like full-on cutscenes and everything.
That's cool.
So I don't know if it would be this game, or if he was just like bullshitting or something, and of course people online are like, no, Red Dead is bad, and it's boring, and I hate Western game devs, and it's like, stay away from me. But yeah, that'd be cool, because I think Miyazaki has said before, it's like, it's not like he's opposed to telling a story through, like, cutscenes and everything. It's just, he's not good at it, so he just tells it, like, you know, within the gameplay, I guess, which obviously attracted a lot of people to the storytelling that From does. But it'd be cool to see it, like, with a bunch of cutscenes and stuff, too, I guess. So we'll see. I don't know if that's even related, or if he was just shooting the shit or whatever.
Yeah.
But From is also making at least 2 other games, because they basically announced that Armored Core 6 or 5 or whatever the hell it is being made, and there's still a weird game that Miyazaki made. A lot of people thought it was Deracine, but he confirmed in an interview a few months back that it wasn't Deracine. So I'm most interested in that one, probably, just because I kind of want to see them get away from Souls for a little while. I feel like they become a little too complacent and comfortable, because obviously they're really talented, whether it be in the art direction or fun gameplay or whatever. They can do great stuff, but it's like, okay, we have like 5 or 6 Souls games. Yes, they're all great, but now, you know, there's other people trying to imitate them, whether it be Neo or The Surge. Even the new God of War is kind of Souls reminiscent. So I think maybe it's one of those absence makes the heart grow fonder things, where take a break from Souls for just like a few years, not even a ton, like maybe 3-4 years or something.
Yeah.
And then come back with, like, I don't know, Bloodborne 2 or another new IP, or Dark Souls 4 or something, or hell, maybe even Demon Souls 2. I'd be down for it. I like that game, but probably not.
Yeah.
but that would be cool. Actually, well, yeah, so we might see Great Rune or another FromSoft game, but I was going to mention that we still haven't seen Bluepoint's new game, which we probably won't see because I think it's going to be another Sony exclusive. But the reason why I thought of it is because so many people have speculated that it might be Demon Souls remastered. I don't think it's going to be. I would love it if it was, because I know I'd love for so many, more people to play Demon Souls, because I love that game.
That didn't cross my mind, but so many people have wanted that for a while. I could see that happening.
Yeah. Well, whenever the announcement came out that they were making a new one, like the first thing everyone said, like you could find like message board threads with like a bunch of pages, people saying like, oh yeah, Demon Souls, and everything. So that'd be really cool. And they said it's going to be a bigger project than Shadow of the Colossus was. So I don't know. It may be demons. It may not be. If it were demons, the only thing that worries me is that I don't really nowadays. I don't like whenever they do remasters and they try to change art styles and like graphics and everything, because I feel like whenever they do that, it always ends up ruining something about the original, even if they try really really hard to mimic it. So that's the only thing that worries me, because I don't want like a new remaster to come out and then it's like, okay, well I think I'd rather just play the original then, because then I go back to the PS3. That's the only thing that worries me, unless they do it like the Master Chief Collection, or like sometimes they try to crank the frame rate up to 60 FPS, but then they don't do proper testing on things, so then parts of the games are like fucked up. Like actually, we were talking about Sly Cooper earlier. In Sly 1, there's like a boss where there's like a music QTE thing, and in the original it's all synced up properly, so it's not that hard, but in the new one, the 60 FPS makes I think it makes the animations in the game go too fast, so it just makes the fight a lot harder than it used to be, and if people don't catch that, then it can be really annoying. But we'll see. It'd be cool to see Demon Souls remastered, but I would assume if it's a big remaster, and they are doing it, it's going to be like a graphical thing. It's not just going to be like, oh, this plays at 60 FPS now, which is what I would prefer. I actually agree with Todd Howard on this point, where he says that he thinks games should just be experienced as they were originally released. I'm at that point where that's kind of just what I want. I'm totally cool with frame rates being up to 60, because it's a lot better. Some better textures are nice too. Otherwise, I'm fine with just looking at a PS2 game, because otherwise I just feel like things get a little fucky. So that's my opinion on it, but we'll see. It could be anything. It could be, I don't know. I don't know what it could be.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that sticks out in your mind in terms of predictions that we don't really know about?
I've heard some people say we might see the Resident Evil 3 remake trailer, but and there's no way we're seeing
too early.
Way too early for that. People are getting way too ahead of themselves. In terms of something Capcom would announce, I'm not really sure. It's possible they could announce a new Mega Man game now, because that's a bit of a smaller project. Or maybe if the rumors that they are doing a big update on MVC Infinite to make that MVC 4, maybe that could be there. I wouldn't expect too much from Capcom though. I think they're going to be there. I think they may have like a little booth, but I wouldn't expect anything major this year.
What about a new collection? Like, how in Nintendo Direct they announced the beat 'em up bundle a while ago. Do you think that could be possible? I mean, you've always wanted the Hidden Gems bundle,
the Cult Classics collection.
Cult Classic collection.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Yeah, I don't know Capcom's definitely going to have some releases up their sleeves, even if it's not big AAA ones, because they pretty much put out constant stuff. I mean, they even the most recent thing they announced in terms of a collection was the arcade collection with the arcade stick, and it's actually really really expensive. So at first I was kind of interested when I heard about it, but it's like $250, and it's like, okay, I guess this is for people that are super super into Capcom arcade games. So
yeah.
I don't really have any attachment to those. So they announced that recently, and before that they had Onimusha 1 remastered, and they remastered Okami, and Killer 7 is actually a Capcom game, so technically, or at least it's published by Capcom. I don't know. I guess Grasshopper made it, but technically that is another Capcom remaster. And they've done the Mega Man collections, the Disney Afternoon Connect collection. So we'll see. I don't think we're going to see another Onimusha collection, unfortunately. I don't know that the remaster sold that well.
Yeah, I don't think it did.
And also they have to. The problem with using actors is that you have to pay them for more appearances, and Capcom decided to use famous actors for all the Onimusha characters. They have to pay all of them again to redo the licensing and everything. And that's a huge pain in the ass for them. So we'll see. I think we're going to see something from Capcom, but it's probably not going to be anything too mind-blowing. I think if we're going to see something from Capcom, it's going to be at the Nintendo press conference. Probably not at Microsoft's, but we'll see. Although, speaking of a company tied to Microsoft and Capcom, Ninja Theory may have their new game. I think someone said they might have the name already. I feel like they've talked about the gameplay, but I can't remember anything about it now that I think about it. So, as long as they're not making DMC Devil May Cry 2, do whatever you want, okay? I'll look forward to it. Just don't touch that again. I would really prefer it if Capcom could stop saying, like, yeah, they're on board, we're on board. Just let it go. Please just stop, okay? We overcame such adversity with that, okay? Devil May Cry 5 is out. The future is bright. Please stop mentioning that, okay? I hate that. Every single time they do, it's like, dude, I'm trying to forget about it. Oh, actually though, speaking of action games, Bayonetta 3 may be at Nintendo's press conference.
That's a good call.
The first gameplay. That'd be really cool to see.
Because all we've seen is that initial trailer from Game Awards like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
so.
And that was just like a pre-rendered thing anyway. So, yeah, I think it's about time we should see Bayonetta soon, especially because they probably have a bunch of extra money because of Nier.
Yeah.
Because Kamiya even said like Yoko Taro basically saved Platinum because that game sold so much. A lot of the other things I guess we're excited for, we probably know that they're coming.
Cuphead DLC, that'll probably get either a hard release date or maybe even a shadow drop, maybe.
Yeah, and a lot of the things I personally would want are either not coming right now. For example, a Ninja Gaiden 4, I'm down with it, but Neo 2 is coming. They already released an alpha for that. A new big Capcom game is probably not coming right now. Maybe we'll get one announced at the end of the year.
Ken Levine's game, please. I'm hoping for it.
Yeah. Probably not at E3 if I had to guess. We will probably see Outer Worlds though.
Oh yeah.
That's going to come out in August, I think, or something.
It's rumored, but I think it's pretty likely that it's going to come out in August.
Yes. You just keep doing you. Remedy is going to be there, showing off Control. Excited for that game as well.
Animal Crossing at Nintendo. Probably the new Smash DLC character.
Oh yeah. I'm ready to see new Smash stuff.
I know Halo Infinite is supposed to be having a blowout. They're showing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I'm excited for that game as well. I'm curious to see what direction they're going to go with that game because I know Halo 5 got a lot of criticism. Halo 4 got criticism as well. So that'll be super cool to see. One thing I will say regarding Ninja Gaiden real quick is that there's been a lot of buzz around the series because they've recently re-released Ninja Gaiden 2 and Razor's Edge on the backwards compatibility program, which a lot of people thought they weren't going to do. I feel like there was a few other things that they did recently. I don't remember. The point is that some people think that there is going to be a collection. Maybe it will be announced at E3. I don't know. They missed both 30th anniversaries, so that would have been the time to announce a collection, but you never know. Maybe they'll announce that at some press conference or something. But if I had to guess, it'll be Neo only. And they probably will announce that are live DLC, but not at E3 because E3 is going to be weird and they don't want their titties there and whatever. And it's not something to announce at E3. Don't announce, big titty beach DLC there. Otherwise, yeah, I can't really think of anything big that I would really want to see that probably will be there. And I don't think Metroid 4 is going to be there either because
definitely not.
I think they just restarted development basically.
Yeah.
They're just like, you guys don't know how to make this. I will make it for you. Oh, we might see a Dead Rising game someday. Not E3.
Yeah, not
E3,
now.
but we will
Someday.
see another Dead Rising game.
Anyway, those are our predictions. It's E3 week. It's very exciting. We're going to be trying to do some live reactions, I know, for some of the press conferences. Might not be able to get to all of them, but look out for content on the channel regarding E3 and all the great games that are inevitably going to be announced.
Max Payne 4.
Definitely.
Silent Hill 5.
If you enjoyed, leave a like, maybe comment on what you think you're going to see at E3. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you guys very soon.